Omni Knight, just have a Shadow Demon instead. Why not?
Yeah,
And
but
it's not even just like one cleanse; it's a continuous cleanse
it's
over the
soft though,
entire
isn't it?
duration.
It's not a hard cleanse. It's not hard to
But
spell.
what's it? I mean, what's it not going to dispel?
Well, arrow. Fiend's group. What do you mean? That's why. Okay, that's why I'm asking for the Omni. You got the banishment though, so you have the save in that aspect. Um, for the less track though, this is a hero that wants to be in the middle of the fight. Often we see a Yule Scepter can be something you're considering as well, just to really enable that and help your mana pool. But if you have a way to purge that off, it really makes you consider if you want to go into this item. So I'm a big fan of the Shadow Demon being picked up. I guess it now shows the flex with the Monkey King going to a core though.
Yeah, I was about to say that, right? Like, are you a fan of this Shadow Demon being picked up? Considering like now you've
P1's
essentially
turn
revealed,
to
hey,
ban.
our Monkey King is going to be a core.
Oh.
Pretty good brood game. Pretty damn good brood game. Kunka's removed. I think even the Mars is pretty damn good against it. Love the trombone. Who was that?
Carl.
Carl was the one that did it. Um,
10 seconds
Lena
remaining.
gone. Medusa gone. Tide Hunter gone. This is
5
a very,
seconds
very, very
remaining.
good brood game.
um yeah, I don't know. Like you've got two supports that do nothing versus Brood. Monkey can go like Maelstrom slash Deso. So with Boundless, you deal with Spiderlings, but that takes time. Quop's not
The
really
I think this Monkey King almost has
Dire
to be a
team
position
ban.
one now because at least you're going to have a
good
decent
lane.
time
Very
against
true.
the Broodmother in the laning stage. And if you pop the Insatiable Hunger, you can't get rid of it with the Enchantress enchant, but you can still
T1's
enchant the
turn to
Broodmother and just
ban.
run away
Dire
and make sure
team
she's not
ban.
getting those right clicks off and healing up, right? So it's gonna be tough, right? You need to try and isolate a scenario where Broodmother has nothing to hit. There's no creeps, there's no heroes to be able to do so, and let's just try and beat her out
T1's
because you're a
turn to
Monkey
pick.
King into a melee hero matchup.
And I think that lane's actually really bad anyway. Brood Mirana. Like, Mirana's not the greatest laning stage support. You'd like to have a stun in your lane. So I think Monkey and Enchantress should be able to get a lot of farm out of that. And then once the Brood hits the level 6 timing,
10
then
seconds
maybe you have a hero
remaining.
for Cuckoo to swing to that lane, which they banned Legion and also
5
the
seconds
Templar Assassin, which I'm
remaining.
a little bit surprising about. Maybe they thought like you could put Cuckoo as a is it 3 on the clock?
Maybe. I still feel like the Legion Commander was very important to get rid of because right now they are heavily lacking in something that's actually going to be able to lock down this Broodmother. That's my main concern, right? Because just run away from the
100%.
Monkey King, run away from the Queen of Pain. A Shadow Demon might be able to lock you in place briefly, and the Demonic Purge is kind of nice, but it's not that hard lock that
Centaur.
a yeah, I was about to say Centaur might be pretty decent
Please.
here.
I want to see Centaur. I want to see
Yeah.
Sen. I saw Thompson earlier on stream playing Axe with Siren Conj, uh,
Let's just call it Kanj from
I
now
don't know
on.
why I said it like that. Kaya and Sanj. That's actually what I'm trying to say. He had a Arcane Blink, Blade Mail, and a couple other items as well. I don't know. He was just going a wild build. I struggled
Dire
so much
team pick.
to say Siren Conj. They go tiny. Okay, so.
Not horrible.
uh, but
I mean, the reason I'm saying this is wait, where are they laning this?
I don't know. Like we want the monkey one. Is
I want the monkey one. So what? Quap 3
10
tiny
seconds
mid
remaining.
is the way that I would potentially look to do this. Because regardless, I still want to
5
see
seconds remaining.
that 15-minute Aghanim shard, right? Because I feel like if you run the Monkey King into the Broodmother, you're gonna have a very good time, and so Broodmother isn't going to be like this beast before the 15-minute mark. And so by that time, Tiny's going to have his item, and you can just put him in the lane to be able to stop the Brood from doing what she wants to do with her spiders. Another underrated change is the actual stun interval between the avalanche ticks. It's moved from zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 seconds, which actually means that you're just locked in place for a decent amount of time longer. So pretty difficult to look to play
Now
against. And
select your
okay, well,
heroes.
they realized that one of these heroes has to be put into the off lane, but I feel like it's most likely just going to be the Quap now, right?
yeah. I think you put Quap.
No?
Oh,
Okay.
so
Quap's mid.
I I wasn't too much of a fan if it was going to be what's going on. Cuckoo Enchantress. Okay.
Let me
All
think
right.
about it.
Yeah, I'll let you think. I'll speak a little bit. So you got a range matchup at least into the Ursa, which is kind of why we were saying potentially for Queen of Pain to go into that matchup. So what's it going to be? Enchantress, Monkey King, like we saw prior. Actually, no, that was not the case. It's going to be a really strong lane into Bane Ursa. I think T1 win that lane. I think Gabby and Whitemon. Shadow Demon is not the greatest laning support. I also really don't like having a Shadow Demon as a 5. I think you do a lot better with farm and experience. But I think that lane should be fine though for Gabby to farm. I'm a bit concerned of when Enryu hits level 6 with how they're able to take the towers. But I guess Carl can make a lot of rotations and put emphasis on the side lane. More importantly, the safe lane for T1 to help that. I like the Neon's draft though. I like the draft.
I do as well. I just don't think that... I don't think Broodmother is going to be shut down enough early on that, you know, she's still going to have a decent time. I wonder if they are... Because they didn't do it previously, and I feel like it's pretty damn important against a TA, but probably even more so, probably to the same extent, to block up. Again, I'm going to talk about it, the small camp. You know, you're up against a Leshrac. He's good at shoving the wave out with the Lightning Storm, and you want to make sure that you've got the potential to walk back, farm an extra camp, have that extra net worth relative to the enemy. Have we seen a pause in every single game? I feel like we have.
Come get me.
They just... I honestly think it's an obligation now. Like you have to go in, you're obligated to pause. It's just let everything roll out a little bit. Stretch the arms, stretch the legs. 5 seconds back in.
The whole draft for that, bro.
Look, I didn't... What do you... I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why. I don't know why they would need a quick pause. No mercy. Just go straight in for it. How are we feeling? Have they answered the Brood, or do you feel like they're gonna have issues with Enryu's really, really strong Brood? Which I really hate this set as well, but anyway. TNC are back.
We're from Australia, okay? It's... We know what it is to experience this on a daily basis, this Broodmother. The old redback.
Oh, the older redback. I haven't seen one in quite... I don't even want to finish that. I started. I don't want to finish it because I know if I do, I'm going to see one soon, and I don't want to. So, yeah. I'm happy to just see it as you know, many. Well, actually, do I really want to see them in games? Like, I don't know. Watching a Brood game is like, oh, you know, Skir is it feels like a bit hit or miss. You can have some good Brood games. Honestly, when we were casting Dota 2 Champions League and we saw Ace play the Brood with that Ags build, I was like, this is cool because we seeing something a little different. And even though it was super toxic and you just couldn't play into the Ags, which they buffed up as well, by the way. Did you see that little buff?
What did they change?
Hang on, let me pull it up. It was something like you can use it across the map now. Can now be cast anywhere there's a web regardless of cast range. Dope.
To battle.
Very cool. So that is a little buff in my books for the Brood.
I feel like that's the sort of thing that if it was being spammed out, you would be tired of seeing it, but it's enough of a novelty still that you're like, all right, you know, it's a kind of cool little thing coming through. Whitemon scouted out this observer ward there, so it has to be a little bit careful, of course. You're up against an Ursa lineup, so he's going to be able to potentially catch you out there as Ubbing gets the D ward himself. Might be... Is he going to go for the deny onto his own ward? Wouldn't hate to see it.
I don't care about the deny. Give me a prediction. I'm cutting you off.
You'd really be a little salty today, Aries.
No, I'm just getting to the point. I don't... If they're going to deny the ward, just give me a prediction. Come on. Chat needs to have someone... Important. Chat needs to have someone to roast if they get it wrong. And you're going to...
Alright, so go ahead.
No. This... Come on now. Come on now.
Oh, nicely done by Whitemon. Actually went and blocked up the arrow onto the range creep, so... I prefer Neon's draft, but I feel like T1's execution is just going to be really strong. My thing is, like... I think Tiny is way too strong right now, so I feel like that's just going to be enough to be able to pull them over the line. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
I think Radiant have really strong lanes as well, and I feel like when you've got strong lanes in your head, then it's going to be difficult. I feel like you're going to rely pretty heavily on like this Shadow Blade on Gabby to find kills across the map. Otherwise, like you struggle to start fights. They Like, how do you actually start fights already? Maybe like Zephyr with a boundless strike, and then Carl can follow up as well. They don't have the greatest game really to kill off Carl as well on the Queen of Pain. Like, no easy initiation, maybe like a nightmare into arrow if you're on the opposite side of the map, but that's really all they got. So I feel like the lanes is where this game's going to be determined, so I'll give the edge to T1.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the one worry potentially is, right, like, what do you have that's going to stop this,
Enryu?
Like, Enchantress could potentially just run away, right?
Yo, we're both right, Danog. Come on, give me a high five.
You were very mean to me. I'm not going to give you anything. So, well, like, the Enchantress, I feel like, is going to have a little bit of a worry, right? Like, how are you going to actually chase around a lot of these heroes in team fights, right? There's not too much that's going to lock people in place. It's going to rely heavily around, like, the Demonic Purge, as well as the initiation coming through from Gabby. So, they're able to get to that. I wonder if this is, and it is, another Diffusal Blade coming out from Zephyr. So that's definitely going to help. But, you know, once those BKBs potentially come out for Neon, particularly on the Ursa and the Leshrac, do become a whole lot more difficult.
And they don't have a game to crazily enable Avatar mode on the Lesh. Like, often when you're looking to pair this hero with an IO or with like a saving support, you kind of have that in the Bane, I guess, Nightmare, but it's nothing too crazy like some of your other better combos. But how do you feel like the Lesh is going to fare this game? Is he able to get into the middle of the fight and deal ridiculous amounts of damage before he's blown up?
Radiant structures are fortified.
Even then, right? Like, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more challenging because when you think of a Leshrac, what sort of item build do you put to consider? It's like, you know, some good movement speed items like a Yule Scepter, but you're against a Shadow Demon, right? You've got that continuous purge coming out, so you're not going to be able to chase down people. I think both team fights lack this thing that allows you to fight in an enclosed area, and both of them honestly want to do that. They either want to stand and right click, or they want to chase people down, and both teams, I'd say T1 probably have the slight edge with a lot of the slow abilities.
Starting to stack up the poison. Wymon's already got level 2 as well, so that is enough to secure the kill. And another one to Enryu's Broodmother, so really struggling in this bottom lane.
Even top, I mean, it doesn't mean too much at this stage, but Cuckoo, he's opened up a little bit of a lead for himself to bully the Ursa as much as possible. I wonder if he's going to forego putting anything into the overpower, because it is dispellable if he does try and go in onto you.
Yeah. Oh, he's got Battle Fury?
You know, yeah.
I don't know how he ever gets that farm. He's getting absolutely bodied in this lane.
I don't think you're going to outscale a Tiny if you go Battle Fury. I think you need to go all in on the early game and try and get kills and try and shut them down that way. And then just be ridiculously efficient. I don't know. I'm almost never a fan these days of Battle Furiosa, just because there are so many other heroes.
He's dead here. Yeah, boundless into one.
Ooh.
Oh, they lost the creep as well at that exact moment, so he can't get rid of the Nightmare. What's Zephyr do? Does he jump down on the bench or does he jump on the Ursa? I think he will get out of Primal Spring range, but by the time he gets on the Enchantress, Ursa probably is already far enough away.
He's out of regen, so it's not like he can even just eat a tango, right?
Bang's got two selves, but you got to get back to the tower.
The trees and TP? I think like they have nothing to stop him TPing away.
All right, let's see. What's the play, T1? Zephyr's going to do the job. Oh, he's going to run back into the Primal. Oh, no, Zephyr big brains the Ursa. All right, Zephyr doesn't need no help. He'll do it himself.
Could have just TP'd.
Oh, it's another lane that's going exceptionally well for the boys on Radiant. He's bottom. Action continuing to break out. Enryu really starting to ramp up the damage onto Gabby, but it's actually Whitemon. I mean, off to the side. His poison sacks. I was talking my smack about a Shadow Demon 5 and really surprised at how early he got that second point in poison. All of a sudden, the damage ramps up and he's continuing to get kills.
It's Whitemon, bro. That's what happens. You just can't feel like this is a free lane regardless of what he plays. He's a monster.
Gotta respect the Whitemon shouted him. The Whitemon 5, I understand now. And like you were saying, I mean, Gabby's gonna scale really well. Might be in some trouble. Another round of the insatiable hunger, but with Whitemon stepping over to provide some assistance, Gabby's going to be able to reposition himself.
Timing as well. He's got the salve just there, delivered, ready for Gabby. You love to see it.
Throughout the river, bang. Here's our first combo. Invis was somehow... Wait, what? What? I swear it didn't pick up the Invis before the Nightmare. And
well, you might need to get your eyes checked.
Hang on. Are we going to speak about that or what?
My face.
Are we not going to say what happened today?
That is a personal issue.
Carl? Oh. Whew. Playing with fire there, my good sir. That's his lane bingo. We haven't paid too much attention to mid. Both have the level 6 at the moment. Carl has gone for the 3 points in the dagger for this lane. Bottom though. And Ryu's in trouble once again. You can't man fight now with all these poison stacks. Gabby's able to find the last little bit of damage. And Ryu's... I don't know if he's going to have a game now, Danog. 3 deaths. It's looking rough.
I mean, despite that, before that death, he was actually top of the net worth. You know, he's getting a lot out of this lane. Yeah, he's doing a good amount here. I mean, I remember I was casting an ESL Australia event a long time ago when like QO was playing on some Oz team, and he legit died like 7 times in lane on his Monkey King, and he was still top of the net worth charts just because every single time he came back, he made sure to get he farmed the entire way. He didn't miss a single free.
No way. What are those jukes? Oh my god. Every game, there's some games in particular, but every game, I just remind myself at how ridiculously talented these pro players are. Making moves like that. I thought he was 100% dead. And now you've seen a rotation top, so now it makes it that much more difficult for Ryu. Solo versus the 2 heroes. He's gonna die again!
What a god. The prediction god coming through. I'll step down from my throne.
Alright, mid lane. Rana needs to get on the backside here to set up for the arrow with the range creep position. And Jing will do just that. So there's a nice little prize claims across the map from the boys on Neon. This definitely feels like they're angled back in. You know, Bane, Mirana making plays, but the Leshrac coming over as well with all the damage they need to get this kills. It's really just off the back of the pickoffs now.
It is, but I don't know, man. Gabby, he's still having a very solid game, and that was always going to be the main concern for mine for OB.Neon, right? If you let this Tiny get off the leash, then Broodmother suddenly isn't able to just freely take towers, very quick to be able to deal with a lot of those spiderlings, and you've got the burst damage to take out these heroes like the Leshrac, because outside of the Bane, you don't really have a saving support, and you can't be playing too aggressively either, right? Because if you play too far forward, you're the one that's getting burst.
Maybe now with Enri having level 6, he can start to stack up a big enough army that could put some pressure on any of the supports that think about showing bottom. So how do you really look to deal with this eventual tower defense for T1? Do you even think about defending it, or do you maybe just trade offlane towers?
I was just having a look at like what Zephyr's skill build was. He's gone 1-2-1 so far, so maybe with a Primal Spring you can look to consider doing it, but as for now, I feel like it almost has to be Gabby going for it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dude, for a second I thought Cuckoo was going Battle Fury. These new item changes. I saw Claymore and Void Summer like, what am I watching? I just got no idea. I'm like, oh, okay. This is not as crazy. Neon?
Got his Skelly Boys army helping with the push there on the top side, does Cuckoo.
Xerxes talking about Battle Fury? Not Diffuser, okay. Oh, Zephyr? So let's scout them out. We've revealed the ward in the high ground. No way they could have got that Nightmare just like that, so... Impossible. We'll go down for the consequence of the eventual D-ward that's going to come out shortly. But they were setting up on Cuckoo, so... I mean, the hero who's second in net worth would have been a very valuable kill if they were able to find it for Neon.
And the thing is, like, at this stage of the game as a Leshrac, you're having to spend a lot of mana to be able to kill people. And yeah, all that time is just time spent for the Queen of Pain to get some free farm, right? Like, it's not going to result in any tower damage, but she was sitting at the bottom of the core net worth. You go top to try and get a kill onto the Enchantress. You kill a support instead. You lose all of your mana, excuse me, to be able to do so. And in that time, Carl just recovers his net worth.
I still cannot believe Enryu's the position he's in though. How is he this farmed? The team's looking at the desk. He's got 4 out of the 6. Enryu's like, lads, don't worry. I'm farmed as anything. I'm more farmed than you guys. You just relax a little bit. Come play with me. I'm gonna be strong. We'll take over bottom and we'll take over this game. That's kind of the early game, you know, pump up talk, right?
Sure. I wonder how he wants to actually play. Like, as long as you're seeing this Tiny here, I think the way that he's doing it right now is probably the best way to play. Like, you farm the lane, have the creeps farm the jungle. Sorry, the spiderlings farm the jungle. You can't put any big tower pressure on. We're even going to look to rotate down avatar mode here towards the bottom side. The Observer Ward just expired as well, that was placed in the lane super early on by Whitemon. So maybe they'll catch out Gabby.
Well, it has to be a deep dive attempt. Oh, the Avalanche just out of range of the Fiends group. Whitemon will still TP in, so is able to cancel a decent amount of the duration, but they still have issues with how much damage the Lesh is really starting to ramp up at this stage of the game. As Carl TPs through, drops the Sonic Wave, clipping onto multiple heroes, but still the Broodmother has been untouched this team fight, getting a double down bottom, and off to the upper side of the map. It was a solo kill for Astra on Zephyr too, so I mean that's huge as well for the Ursa, who was very much struggling after his poor lane.
Really nice reaction actually coming through there from Gabby to get the Avalanche off. But yeah, like we saw, just not quite catching the Fiend's grip range there on the Bane. He gets out if he's able to just get that stun off onto the Fiend's grip.
Oh, at least Neon are going to hit a pretty solid timing throughout the... Well, throughout like 17 minutes. You got Diffuser being worked on for Asta. Lesh has almost got the Kai completed. Almost Orchid as well for Enryu. So yeah, they're definitely going to be at a stage where Neon can continue to make these aggressive maneuvers like we saw previously to bottom.
And for a position 4, this is a pretty early timing as well coming out for the Spirit Vessel. Only 600 or so gold away for Jing.
Zephyr.
Earlier than any kind of BKBs going to come out.
9-man avatar mode. See if he places correctly. Yes, sir, he does. The vision, of course, so very nicely done.
He mentioned a buyout though, so he's not going to lose any gold for that. Bought the like that's the one situation where I think buying a recipe is okay, when you're going to die and you would have lost 4 gold anyway. So it's just not efficient to go for the Robe of the Magi. It's not going to help
I
Monkey
get you.
King to be able to farm.
Efficient recipe buy. That's what you're all about. How do you...
Holding it in his inventory when he's alive. What is wrong with people?
How are you liking this Orchid change? Are you seeing a little bit more people, commit to the item that you wouldn't have been expecting?
I really like it. I mean, I think that it feels a lot more logical on a lot of heroes that want to be going for kills. It's just a different type of hero now, right? Like the ones that want to be doing perhaps a little bit more physical damage, that need a lot of the right click potential.
Carl?
Maybe that's the way that Carl's going to look to build here.
Coach is out on avatar mode. What is this? Some flying Cory pump faking a Wukong's command.
Smeevil.
That's pretty good Cory, honestly. It's a bit scary seeing this random Cory run through. You maybe get baited for a short duration, and then Zephyr pops out. It's not like shit. There's a Wukong's laid down. We gotta retreat away from the area.
Radiant are scanning.
We've got double Diffuser Blade timing coming out, but they're on different teams. Ursa having just picked up one. Monkey King going the naked Diffusal instead, just relying on his jumping between the trees for a lot of his movement. You're going to be able to do too much to be able to stop you from farming in here. I think he just wants to try and keep tabs on this Broodmother, and if he goes out of place, maybe you can look to get a kill onto him. But without that tier 1 tower being available, that's going to become a very hard task. Just clear out the spiders, though. That's a good way for Zephyr to get a lot of those early items.
Alright, time to smoke. Pick off into Roche they're looking for. Gabby the target. The rest of the team smoke next to Gabby. They started to evacuate away from the area, and now they can look to move back.
I know.
Asta's already started on Roche, though. Does he look to continue making the plate? No, it's going to leave the pit as a bang. It's the first casualty. Zephyr's still moving on forward for Avatar mode. He definitely could have gotten it as well. No one moved in the pit.
They see this TP coming through here, and Whitemon
Allies disappear.
should know that that was happening, so it's able to get out in
Oh,
time.
Asta's under a Radiant Sentry. It's about to expire, but they've got so much value out of it before it does. Orchid out, no threat of the Rage. Bye-bye, Ursa, blown up. Oh, he's kicking himself here. Of course, we have this bird's eye perspective, but he would have been able to kill Roshan and then get out for it. A bang? Lands a Fiend's Grip. This is Cuckoo as well. And first step of the game for the Enchantress, and her farmer's definitely tailed off. Someone who's unable to flash farm like any of the other cores, but still a big kill nonetheless with how solid a lane Cuckoo did have.
Yeah, of course. You definitely need to transition it, though, especially once
Another
we've
one?
got the Orchid.
Pick off after pick off. Let's go, baby. Shadow Demon's gone. They're eyeing up Carl.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That's going to be a mid tower. Makes taking that Roche a whole lot easier now that you've taken away that big TP point, and Asta looking to roam right back into there. And well, this is what I really like about the way Enryu plays his Brood
They
as
see
well.
you. So the rest of T1 though, they need to move over the pit pretty fast though. Roche is starting to fall. It's going to be Zephyr's job. Can he steal it? Oh, the arrow! Jing gives Asta the opportunity. Pick up the Aegis. Now leap on forward for more for another kill. What's a backline? They've slept up Gabby. Wymon's going to try and TP in to provide him some assistance. In fact, it's going to hold back Asta instead. But Gabby's able to retreat away from the area. Of course, it will cost Whitemon his life. Time what? A Ben? He's in no man's land.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a pretty deep dive, but I mean, it does accomplish a lot, right? Like, you're forced to do all of that, and look at what the line is drawn on the map. It's just about Arbing keeping here on this bottom side. As soon as they went for Roche, Enryu started pushing on the bottom side. It's multiple big objectives being taken at the same time. That tier 2 tower plus Roshan. So if you can get at least one of them, it's a big win, and they've almost got both.
Still eyeing up Enryu. On the finish mill. Enryu's pretty goddamn speedy though.
Nice ward from Arbing.
Oh, now Whitemon's just going to be picked off, and a bang. And the rest of the goons are looking at TP3. Now Cuckoo's in trouble as well. Carl's going to look to try and cancel this with the Orchid. He's able to do so, but Cuckoo's already taken the full brunt of the damage. Avatar mode's still got to be cautious, but with the help of Enryu, they can just step on inside the ring, bring down the monkey, and now eyeing up Carl with a quick blink away to the tree line. He's okay. Man, Neon excelling through the mid game, and they're looking really good.
Yeah. Like I said, during the very start of the game, I really liked their draft. I just didn't think it would go this well, particularly with Enryu being able to get a lot of the farm in the laning stage despite dying a number of times. I also want to point out, like, Gabby, he had a Shadow Blade queued up for the longest time, and he's still going to go for it. But there was a good, like, 2-minute period between 15 and 17 minutes where he had the gold to buy the Aghanim Shard, but didn't immediately go for it. So that might have just slowed down his farm by a little bit.
Arrow connects. Where Whitemon's positioning though, yeah, I feel like that still a difficult attempt to make. I mean, Neon have accumulated quite the net worth lead though, 7,000, and Radiant, that's the important thing as well. Like with how they're able to connect to a lot of the pickoffs, you see your Enryu is going to consistently have bottom shoved in, so someone's forced to deal with this. And it's going to mean that tier 1 are more than likely fighting with a numbers disadvantage, and they don't have the most mobile heroes like Shadow Demon, Enchantress, Tiny. Maybe Gabby now with Shadow Blade is a bit easier. They're going to look to start the fight now.
Ryu has to be careful.
He's got a sentry nearby though, so we should see Gabby. Easy money. No. Danog, you're not thinking like a core. Okay? Get in their mindset.
How do you get kills when you don't have an ult for 2 minutes?
I understand. I see where you're coming from. But Carl says, we're going the late game. See this little bit of net worth in front of me? That gets me to my next item. Enryu? Reyna gonna try and take the fight around the high ground, but like you said, they don't have the Sonic Wave for that full burst. He runs back into the arrow. Whitemon needs to try and help the Queen of Pain, but Whitemon completely avoids the saving aspect to potentially turn this fight back around, as now it's a disaster for T1. Gabby I mean, standing with Zephyr, the Wukongs is anchoring some portion of this fight. Just gonna try and get it out to safety with the Shadow Blade, but the rest of Neon homing. Make sure there is no retreat for the Tiny. 4 down, and they have no casualties at all.
And that was with them having complete vision of that team fight as well. 2 observer wards placed down at the exact same time by T1, not dewarded. Still without the Queen of Pain, without the Sonic Wave potential, just not able to have any significant impact. That's optimistic to try and stop the push. I mean, they still don't have a glyph for another minute and a bit, and this is a level 17 Broodmother. They have a siege creep wave as well, but they're wanting to back off a little bit after they take back the outpost for now on Asta.
So Zephyr was 0 and 4, right? Yeah, very cool. Sorry, not Zephyr, sorry, Enryu. I mean, Enryu's, his Brood is definitely something you don't want to match up against when you don't have the greatest way to deal with him. And
he was definitely at least 0 and 3. I'm not sure if he was 0 and 4.
Sure he was. I mean, this is exactly what you need for an Ursa lineup. First Aegis claim, you control the map. You haven't been able to take... Well, actually, you did get 2 tier 2 towers, so honestly, they got a lot more out of it than what you'd honestly be expecting for an Ursa first Aegis.
And it's not even just the fact that you got the first Aegis, right? It's when you got it. And it was that, like,
farming pretty aggressively in the lane. Cuckoo nearby, but what Enchantress can do to really withstand these aggressive maneuvers is Neon continuing to control the map. They're going to eye up Cuckoo instead as a bang just gets him. Rain. He's...
I still don't know what this pos 3 Enchantress is for, right? Like, we haven't seen the impact come out from it, right? Like, just feels like it's not accomplishing too much of anything.
Again. I was just eyeing up. I thought he was going to jump in the trees and then boundless. He's like, no, we'll boundless in the lane to set up for a bang. Yeah, you're worried what the Cuckoo Enchantress is providing them?
Yeah, I mean, like, what does it actually do this game? It's not going to stop anything other than overpower from being used with the offensive dispel. You become incredibly single target, so something like a Broodmother absolutely wrecks you.
Actually, maybe bottom. Asta's in trouble. Gabby's got a ridiculous amount of bursts, and Ursa, yeah, Enrage was on cooldown too, so there we go. Real first solid sequence of events for T1's favor.
Yeah, a significant kill, let's say, that they've had in quite some time, and well, the thing is now, Enryu, he has to be a little bit careful. Obviously, the creep wave is pushing in onto this top side, but they're pretty active at this point in time, right? Like, a Tiny doesn't really have any cooldowns that he needs to play around. Maybe he'll want to try and get that BKB before they're looking to push in up onto the high ground, but doesn't need to be concerned about all that much. Are always a little bit worried, though. Like I said before, Neon, whenever they pick up this Broodmother, they play heavily around the distraction style of plays, going for multiple things at once. But they don't have that now with the Ursa going down. So I wonder if they might be a little bit more hesitant to go in onto this tier 2 tower. Maybe only committing the spiders, or maybe not.
Dude, Zephyr is playing with fire. He's silenced as well still. Ooh, oh my. Dude, Zephyr. Well, then vision.
Can't cut him down though.
Okay. I sit on Zephyr. I see you. Dude, does he make this? Enryu's a little bit by himself. See how much they are really relying on Gabby though. He's got a Skadi now. Oh man, I don't know. He's really hard to kill. Back on your talk about Cuckoo. Actually, we might not have an opportunity. Smoking. They're gonna go straight into the side where Neon. They are well and truly set up. A powerful position for them. Shadow Demon doesn't sidestep the arrow. That's a more important target to be eaten by this as well. So your defensive support now out of the equation. They have cut the lanes though.
Good job. Yeah. Very well up here on the top side. He's still going for that like semi-carry sort of build. A few Wraith Bands. It's going to hit the 25-minute mark shortly, so you're going to get an even additional benefit from that. The armor, the attack speed. It's going into the BKB, so that's the real thing that they're waiting for right now on T1. BKB timing's not only on the Tiny, but on the Monkey King as well.
Gabby's going to be eyeing up Avatar mode. Jing as well. The rest of the team are behind. But the lane ward that Cuckoo has just missed with his sentry. Actually, apologies. Not Cuckoo. One of T1. Now Cuckoo's It's gonna be alright. I think the thing, back to your Enchantress talk, like Cuckoo did very well in the lane. Ursa got almost nothing out of it. And I feel like this would be a completely different game if Ursa went Battle Fury. He was able to get involved through the early fights, which gave you this 5-on-5 potential and just a way to get early Roche, which was something you needed as Cuckoo's still going to go down. Almost run to the arrow as well. I mean, and they've had big brood issues for a majority of this game now, but I think the one thing that I was really a fan of for T1's lineup was just how well their lanes were going to go and then how they could snowball off that, but we didn't see them get enough map control, I feel like, off winning both side lanes and mid, I think a little bit more less favored.
It was, yeah, it was a little less favored.
Come get me.
Can we put everything onto that Sonic Wave? Honestly,
I don't know.
It feels like they lost like 3 tier 2 towers as a result of not having a Queen of Pain for a very key team fight where they had vision. So everything was set up for Carl to have, like, that was his level 2 Sonic Wave as well, so it's a lot of damage.
So Roche was being claimed at the same time. A bang.
Yep.
You're on to Gabby. BKB available. Maybe Dara have gone too deep. They don't have the Ursa to connect just yet, and now Bane's gone. Lesh is gone as well. T1, can they withstand the Broodmother pushing on to even out the trade? And Ryu continuing to beat onto Gabby, BKB, Scotty. There's seeming to be no escape for the Tiny, but they're going deeper and deeper inside the base. BKB soon to expire for the Orchid. Ticks out the Tiny. Now Carl's going to try and blink out to safety. Just gets away. Dude, Enry.
A little bit too antsy. Yeah. What can you do against this Broodmother? Now he's even going for the AC build. You love to see it against this. They're
eyeing up the Brood. I do not know how they ever kill Brood. Dude, Ash is like, thank you, free kills for me. Cuckoo Sans unable to pummel into them with the impetus. That's still only level 2 at the moment.
King was still holding onto the salve after that entire time, so able to bring him back up, even giving him through the Spirit Vessel there, and it's going to be fine to be able to take this next team fight. And just getting a little bit too aggressive, like I said, doing multiple things at once is going to be effective because at the very worst, it's going to result in you getting one of them. And Asta was able to claim Roche, but for whatever reason, they just continue the dive on forward after the Aegis was claimed. So,
Cuckoo.
Potential to maybe take the tier 3.
Dude, the Brood is eyeing up more food. You don't have the easiest stunts to set up for the arrow, but when you've got Scotty along with the Silken Bowler, those slows plentiful to make sure there is no escape. And Gabby's been able to respawn. Let's see how they can take this fight. Of course, keep in mind they've got the Aegis advantage. Oh. Okay, well, that Nightmare is going to allow him to pop BKB. And now what do? You got Wukongs nearby. Danog, break it down for me. Come on. Give me the intel. Oh, no, you don't have an opportunity. Let's see, Gabby, you're going to stick around. Andrew's able to pop the BKB. They'll just turn to blow up Zeph. Oh, boy.
They can't do it without Sonic Wave, right? Like, even just the smaller things like pushing the Broodmother away once he pops that insatiable hunger. There's nothing stopping him from just standing and man-fighting right now. Great positioning from Ubbing again on his lane.
Oh? I'm faking the blink forward. Forces him now to use the BKB. Beng's waiting the wings as well. He's ready with this Fiend's Grip. Don't care though. Objective-based gaming. They still don't have the 5 members on tier 1 to make this defense. And how do you start the fight on it to end Ryu? I mean, this Brood is ridiculously beefy. So bring down Cuckoo. Carl's able to reposition. Asta's going to be a bit cautious. I'm going to dive under the tier 4 tower. He's going to respect at least the lineup at tier 1.
Well, mission accomplished with that. You don't even lose your Aegis for that, and you get 2 lanes of racks. This feels like, fortunately, for T1 and their fans, the Tiny, the busted hero, just isn't going to be able to get it done for them. I just feel like, yeah, the laning stage, you get a bunch of kills onto him, but unless you're setting up in place to be able to stop him from consistently pushing on forward, like I said, there was that 2-minute period between 15 and 17 minutes where Gabby had the money for the Aghanim Shard, but it felt like he was trying to go straight Silver Edge. He eventually did end up going for it at the 17-minute mark, the Aghanim Shard, to help with his farm, to help with the potential fights against the Brood, but didn't actually look to show up for him. So, just felt like Enryu got off the chain.
And they're not going to be set up now for this high ground defense. They were in a position previously. The Ursa's going to take a lot of damage here with the combo. Enough to get rid of the first life. Can you protect Gabby though? Whitemon's going to be in a position. Banishment out to safety. Now Zephyr's going to charge up the Wukongs as well. Carl, nice prioritization. It's going to look to cancel out the life of the Bane, but they've still got issues with the Brood along with the Ursa as well. As Cuckoo still hasn't fallen just yet. They're looking to do their best to kite the Brood Mother, but on the backline, Carl bashed up from Asta. Still has a buyback available. Gabby's going to eye up Jing too. Detection nearby, so Gabby's able to lock onto the Mirana. And now it turns back. I don't know, man. Brood's goddamn tanky. 3,800 health. A toss deeper inside the base, and that is the one way they can get it done. Multiple buybacks are going to be expended here for the defense of T1. Can they still take this fight, though? Neon have a huge net worth lead. They're just going to turn it back on Gabby. A split earth into the arrow combination. But Avatar mode, he is lacking mana, so they don't have the way to take away the life of Gabby. 2 gone, make it a 3rd, and now high ground and mega creeps have been defended.
It's a big cost, though. I mean, how many buybacks did they use there? I count 3 in that one team fight, but I'm pretty sure that they had just used one recently as well.
No,
Maybe
three
I'm wrong.
buybacks. Yeah, Tiny
It's
and
just
Monkey
3.
still.
I mean, it's a lot, right? Like, you still lose the tier 3 tower. You don't have lanes in a position to be able to take any objectives back from the enemy team. Tiny gets a decent amount of farm, but it's not like he's level 25 yet, so I don't know. Just feels a little bit awkward there that you have to commit that heavily to try and save the game, and that's a big cost towards your economy.
We did see, though, that was the first fight that actually looked somewhat decent for T1. It cost them multiple buybacks, like you're saying, but they just swapped the recognition of how do you take that fight. It's going to be Tiny and Zephyr on the front with Wukongs, Whitemon standing behind, and then you're really just relying on Carl to try and blow up one of the supports. You know, they took away the Bane, so there was no Fiend's grip.
In that fight was Zephyr, right? Like, that was Zephyr winning them that team fight, essentially, and it still cost them a lot of buybacks, right? Because he's got the BKB finally, he had the Wukong set up, and he got the Boundless onto the Bane. I think without all of those 3 things happening...
He sees Avatar mode. They're going to get positioning Asta. Who's the more valuable kill? Looks like the Leshrac is going to be the one they look to blow up. Still got the BKB along with the Bloodstone. The Lesh is going now. Asta doesn't have anyone to back him up as well. Hang on a second. What's going on? T1, are they going to find another window back into this game? Ursa can't lock on the Cuckoo. They both don't have buybacks.
Are they close at least? Okay, the Leshrac is 20 gold away.
But
But it's still a little bit of a concern. I mean, I wonder if they're going to try and fortify this right now or if they're going to save it for the high ground. Both of those side lanes is pushing in relatively nicely, particularly the bot.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He's got buybacks on
Radiant
Neon's side.
structures are fortified.
He could maybe afford to look to put his body on the line there, just to keep that wave pushed in. I wouldn't hate to see him go for like a smoke around the back and just cut the creep wave.
Dire's middle tower.
Honestly, might just be
Right
okay
now,
with
though.
losing the one set, though. And that's all you can lose. You got tier 2 top, you got tier 2 bottom.
Do you think they don't just keep going though?
I
Do you not
think
test
you
the buyback?
don't...
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
And Ryu? Drop a sentry, make sure they're not doubling back. They do have creeps starting to get inside the base, so Carl's going to look to TP back. And all of a sudden, this net worth lead, what was, one I want to say 0% probability as well, is now 13%. So, there is hope here. Danog, there's hope.
This'll come in handy.
I want the copium that you're huffing because it still seems like a pretty dire situation
I'm not
right
huffing
now.
nothing. Dude, it's Dota Plus. I'm just looking at Dota Plus, seeing the probability. I'm like, all right. I'm trying to give the fans some
I know
love here.
Gabe's excited with the Steam Deck just being released, but even that's a little optimistic coming through with wait, what was the probability? 13%? 14 after it literally changed as I was saying it.
Is this the play? Cuckoo takes the Dark Troll Summoner, just amplifying Gabby's damage?
Or the Skellies.
Yep.
That was good. Yeah, I mean, where's the Alpha one? Still just as strong. Extra. Actually, hold on. How does that work?
He was there. I
Radiant
don't know where he
are
went.
scanning.
Oh, there he is. Like, I'll keep huffing, man. Ursa doesn't scale well, and you're speaking about Tiny being a difficult late game hero. He's about to be 25, completed Moonshard, working on Satanic next, and he got the Sliver too. And what was Cuckoo
He's
item?
rallied.
He's rallied.
He's rallied.
Rally
Bottom lane's
around your
pushing in pretty
carry.
heavily, though. I mean, they're pinging it out right now, saying someone needs to defend against this, otherwise our
gonna be
movement is
obvious.
incredibly obvious.
It is at the moment.
Look at Carl. He's just back and forth. He doesn't know what to do, really. He's got the haste rune to potentially rejoin the rest of his team, but there's nowhere to TP to. And yeah, look, they're going to have to back out.
All right, Carl shows. Roche is up in 32. So Radiant, I feel like you need to hold your triangle placement. You're about to lose your wards near this area. Who's got a gem? Has anyone got a gem? Jing's got a gem. Radiant don't have a gem. So they should get full control of this area. And wait, Radiant still have this ward on the high ground.
Yeah, they
There we go.
know. Oh, Carl. Using the haste there. Really wants to take away that vision to enable them to have an effective team fight.
They still have the ward on the backline, though. This is huge for T1. They haven't de-warded it just yet. Carl's gonna pounce. Eyeing up the Queen of Pain. The Brutes are targeted the moment from Gabby. They haven't bursted through Enryu. Now if they can get rid of Zephyr before the Wukongs, but it won't even matter. Ends up dying. A 1-for-1 trade. They're locking onto Gabby. A force. Banishment still all available. But how does he get in range? The grasping jaws of Neon pushing on forward for more. Tiny goes down. He's got a buyback to rejoin, but now they're going to be eyeing up the Queen of Pain. Bashes galore. Ursa secures the kill. Cuckoo's going to stand his ground, but he doesn't have the damage.
Oh, not even the Shadow Strike's going to tick him out there at the end. I think, is that the Satanic completed for him as well? He's got not too much gold. I must have just bought the Abyssal Blade as he goes back and tries to get a few more swings in onto the creeps. There's even Roche up if they were wanting to take it, but with this few defenders and up against a double siege creep wave with a Leshrac and a Broodmother, that's going to be an easy mega creep.
Radiant's top barracks.
That's potentially game.
Now have mega creeps.
At least Whitemon's with the Tiny.
Middle tower is under attack.
Banishment to maybe reposition, but BKB still on cooldown, so it's just going to make it even easier to set up for the Split Earthers. With Gabby goes down, so does the hopes of Tier 1 finding an angle back into this game. For Neon, they will tie the series 1-1, and we are continuing to see T1 struggle in some of these games.
Yeah, they're trying a few new things, but that offlane Enchantress just ain't it. You know, in my opinion, an offlane Enchantress needs to be against something very specific. You know, something that you're able to do more than just bully in the laning stage. Like, they chose that hero when they knew that there was a Broodmother into this game, and they chose to swap the lane matchups here. Obviously, maybe just valuing the Ursa. I feel like you need to put a whole lot more emphasis onto that Enryu Broodmother, because we saw even when he was chain feeding in the laning stage, he was still getting a lot of that farm. And eventually, once he got to that stage where he was much harder to kill, good luck trying to deal with that Broodmother. And well, T1, it's not going to be just that, though. They are going to have a second series to potentially, you know, dust themselves off, come back a little bit stronger. Who are they coming up against, Lockie?
You should know this, Danog.
I am just trying to incorporate you into the cast, man. It's Yangon, all right? I'll take all the thunder. They are facing Yangon Galacticos, everyone's favorite team from Myanmar.
Yeah, we're going to have an exciting second series, T1 up against Yangon. Like you said, though, T1, they are experimenting things. Cuckoo off lane with the Enchantress. It didn't end up working, unfortunately for them. Man, I don't know how Enryu got that farmed. Like, I know you mentioned QO on his, ages ago, one of his games where he died 7 times and somehow he was top of the net worth or something like that. And in the end, it's Enryu's Broodmother as well. Like, he's an exceptional player on this hero, and we saw this game and the rest of Neon, how they could play around. I think also just some of the item swaps, we were both a little bit hesitant on the Ursa Battle Fury, but the fact that he kind of had this recognition that, now we still need to have 5 heroes to fight early on so we don't get steamrolled. And, it got to that stage. You found the first Aegis, which Ursa thrives on. You had about a 12,000 net worth lead off the back of that, and we really just saw what was able to happen as soon as they got map control from there. So for the fans of Neon, we were both wrong. I'm going to blame you because I was following your initial prediction favoring T1. So they can be angry at you for predicting wrong. And for me, I was just a sheep and followed you. So that's okay. And yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the... Yeah, I'm giving you no word. We're going to jump on over to a break. Next up, we've got the boys on T1 facing Yenga.